At this hour, we've been trying our best to dissect what is a difficult topic. Loads of you getting in touch regarding Vinicius Jr. and his experiences in Spain. A number of incidents of racist abuse directed towards him this season. His manager, Carlo Ancelotti, says he does want to stay at Spain, loves being at Real Madrid. But I think it is a pertinent question to ask whether it would enter the mind of a player to consider this aspect of a country when choosing to go and play in that country's league. And I think it's an issue that we've seen. Of course, we've seen it in this country. We've seen it across Europe. We've seen it in Spain. We've seen it in Italy as well. I think most famously, if you like, in Italy over the decades. But it's maybe a consideration that Jude Bellingham, England's Jude Bellingham, will have to make this summer, as it looks like he may be leaving Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid may be the destination. Scott Minto, what are your thoughts on this? Should it enter a player's mind, as sad as it is?
Absolutely, it should. Absolutely take it into consideration. And, you know, if I were Jude Bellingham, I'd probably be speaking to Vinicius Jr. if Real Madrid are wanting me and seeing how he's feeling. I would also be speaking to other black players there, but also speaking to other white players and just get a general feel of what it's like living there. You know, I've not even been to Madrid, let alone the Bernabeu. But obviously I've been to Spain lots of times. But I'm a white guy. I don't know what it's like. I haven't suffered racist abuse. And Jude needs to take that into consideration. He's an incredibly intelligent young man. For him to go out to Germany and absolutely smash it, and it looks like actually he might not be necessarily coming back to the Premier League now because he wants to try another one at probably what I believe is the biggest club in the world. And yet he's willing to do that. But I mean, should he take it into consideration? Absolutely. He should be speaking to people, seeing how they feel, what life is like in Spain, what life is like in Madrid. But then he should make his own mind up. I don't think it would necessarily... I think it's a component of a decision. But Carlo Ancelotti's already come out and said that Vinicius Jr. loves Real Madrid. He loves living in Madrid and he loves playing for the club. And he thinks he won't be leaving. And this, after all this disgraceful stuff that's happened, he believes that's still the case. So absolutely should be thinking about it. But I think if Real Madrid come calling, he will go.
I think the saddest thing, maybe one of the saddest things about professional sport now is that I think professional athletes are aware that they will be abused now. Regardless of who they represent, regardless of whether they do well or badly, to be honest, because if they do well, it's going to be the opposition fans. If they do badly, it's maybe going to be their own fans who abuse them. So one of the sad things is that I think they now know that they will receive that, particularly the ones that are on social media. Maybe not every player gets it inside the stadium, but I do think that if you're black, that will be put towards you in terms of the abuse that you receive. And that's another sad thing, but I think they are aware that it's a part of. So it's not necessarily choosing the country where it doesn't happen. It's more choosing a country where it's not as bad as somewhere else, as sad as that is to say. And they will take a lot of things into account. I think players would genuinely, if they felt in fear of their safety or they felt in fear of their family's safety, they would maybe choose not to go to that country.
Yeah, but
otherwise, I think everywhere would be open to them. And I don't think that Jude Bellingham would feel that going to Spain necessarily.
I don't either, but then again, I don't know. But it will be interesting to see what Vinicius Jr. does at the end of the season, because however long he's got left in his contract, if something like this happens and he wants out, he should be allowed to get out.
He will get racist abuse for the rest of his career, Vinicius Jr., because people are now aware that it hurts him. It was clear how emotional he was about it, and unfortunately, this is the way that people work. They will try their best to hurt him whenever they want to send him abuse or an angry message, and people will do that regularly to Vinicius Jr. for the rest of his career, and we've seen other players get that. You know, if there is a particular thing, whatever it might be, that people know irks you, or the abusers know irks you, they will go for that time and time again, because that's what they are. They're bullies.
Racist do.
Yeah, the racist abusers.
The racist ones will. You know, other ones will abuse, but they'll do it in a different way. They won't use race as that. So if you're a racist, you'll do it. If you're not a racist, you'll find a different way to try and put off an opposition player. Let's
quickly squeeze in one more call. Peter is a Brighton fan. Good evening, Peter. What's your view?
Good evening, Hugh. Yes, been listening to you, and you mentioned earlier about the onus on the clubs being, banned, if you like, or deducted points potentially for fans being racist. And I mean, that does seem extreme. I'm more aligned to what Scott was saying there about the individual. being caught out. And I think with the clubs now, especially in the Premier League, the Premier League have got to say, look, unless you're geared up stadium-wise with cameras and, so we can pinpoint people that are abusing, because the only way you're going to get this out of the game is through use of the technology that's available now.
Peter, let me ask you, if there were 500 fans inside the Amex Stadium chanting monkey, monkey, monkey at a player, and Brighton were subsequently deducted 3 points, would you feel that is unfair?
Well, hypothetically, that's not going to happen because Brighton fans are not like that.
No, it's a hypothetical question, so come with me on the journey. It was an if, and obviously it's hypothetical, so take your club out of it then. If you were a fan at a stadium and there were 500 fans in your stadium and your club was subsequently deducted points, would you feel it's unfair?
Not necessarily on that number, if I'm honest. All going together, that's just incredible. And I can't believe we're having this conversation in 2023, but reality it does happen. And I think the technology side is the way forward, to pinpoint fans, pull them out and say, right, so and so, you're banned for life. Make an example, put them on the club website, get them out. It's just, we can't rely on people's goodwill to say, oh, so and so was telling the steward so and so there was racist comments, because it's people are not necessarily always going to do that.
I gotta say, Peter, did I get an answer to the question? You think it would be unfair?
No, I don't think so, Hugh. On that number, shouting out at a stadium, no, I think the club would, I don't think it would be unfair.
I personally, Peter, I think it depends on what the club is trying to do. If the club is showing initiatives in trying to do its best, then you get 500. I mean, that's an extreme hypothetical because that's a high number of people. Yeah. If that was the case and the club was seen to be not absolutely bang on it, then it's completely fair. But if a club is trying its best...
That's kind of the position that Valencia are in. They've come out very, very strident. I think their president criticised Carlo Ancelotti. They, of course, made lots of statements about how Valencia are not a racist club. Fans aren't racist, etc. But if you look at the video that Vinicius Jr. posted, there were hundreds of fans chanting monkey at him. Yeah, and that's why I asked that question, because that's actually what has happened.
It was from getting off on the coach. So there's people even before the game that were doing that. So, and why didn't the police do something then, making sure they didn't even get into the stadium? So
there's never been any consequence for these actions. So
absolutely.
People feel they can club together. It's almost like sending a malicious text, like Saka had at the World. That sort of thing. They get in the club. They think, I can say what I want. And I can do what I want, and no one's going to. There's no consequence.
There's no zero tolerance.
Well, if the clubs are doing their best, and everyone, the Premier League say, right, this is the criteria for your stadium. You've got to have cameras. You've got to be able to pinpoint who's in that seat, and hopefully, if that sort of thing happens, we can find out that person, get them out, get them banned, because we don't want it. We need to make examples of these racist people doing this. And it is the minority. We all know that. But it's the minority. You can't then turn around and say, well, actually, because of the minority, we're going to stop this club doing this, this and this. If they're not making any efforts, then that's a different matter. But I agree more with Scott than I do with you, Hugh, on that, because I think you can't condemn the club to losing a championship or, deducting points on the basis of one or two mindless morons. And
Peter, I've just got to stop you. I'm sorry, I understand your point. Not because you disagree with me, I'm cutting you off, but it's 8 o'clock, so we've got a break for the news, but appreciate your call. And everyone that got involved in the conversation. It was an important one, so thank you for coming with us on that one.
Michael, we actually haven't got him, but I've just seen it. Let's name and shame. Absolutely spot on. Publicly name and shame these racists. Interesting point, though, just finally on it, because, FFP, etc., clubs, finances, points deductions. So there you go. We can happily do it for that if someone's accounts haven't been done properly. But obviously racism is too big an issue for fans. So it's an interesting one.